Hello, people. Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about a few notes about how the song Temple of Night was written. This song comes from a song cycle that I've mentioned other times, in which I was in a composition funk, and I used to come from the street, and every day I jammed with the keyboard and voice. And sometimes one song came and sometimes it didn't. I enjoyed anyways because I always enjoy playing. It's like physical exercise. You always or like playing with mud. You always enjoy it, but sometimes I found something that I knew could become the raw material for a song, and other times I just had the fun of it. And this song in particular was an 11th hour kind of thing. This is one of the times where the jam session didn't produce anything. And I was kind of melancholic, in a distracted state, in the state where you maybe close one window and then uh, look at the ceiling, and then it's like you just don't want to totally give up. So at some point, I started to play very distractedly. I the what ended up being the bass line of the song. I wasn't at that point looking for anything. I was just fooling around and like letting it flow, and the the bass line came, and this bass line immediately made me think of some kind of 80s band, pop band, in the style perhaps of the Pet Mode or Duran Duran or something of that vibe. And I instantly, well, not instantly, but after repeating it a few times, I overheard the answer to the bass line, and there I knew I got an 80s style kind of song, which is totally not my vibe. But I decided, hey, what if I flesh this thing out just for the fun of it? Maybe something nice comes out of it as a challenge for me as a writer. So this kind of 80s song of an 80s vibe made me think of my own childhood in my 80s, in the, where I could stumble upon a song of this kind, maybe while I was waiting for cartoons to start or something like that. There were in TV very often very small fillers where you got some random video clip between two programs. And in my childhood, I remember seeing many of those groups from the 80s, and I didn't understand. mm, I mean, things like Brian Ferry or Robert Palmer or stuff like that, where I saw adult people doing things that were very strange, and I didn't totally understand, and they seem like complex and weird. And what were they talking about? Of course, I was a kid, and I hadn't discovered sexuality and all that stuff, and it was a part of my confusion. But also, they always gave me a feeling like of too much do about nothing. Like they got very excited and very excited about something that wasn't or didn't look very important. So I decided to try this kind of register for my song, like trying to do a song where I was very energetic about not, no, you don't know exactly what, like taking very seriously something that the main character seems very important, but isn't really very clear for the audience. I summoned my inner Brian Ferry and got down to the task. Firstly, to start with this task, the first thing I had was this contrast between the bass line and the answer of the keyboard riff. And with that building block, and as I wanted to do something as over the top and as majestic as possible, I soon came up with with the change of tonality in the chorus. I thought that a change of tonality would make things more dramatic and exaggerated, which was what I was aiming for. But then I got my first surprise with this song because it turned out that I really liked that change of tonality, and it made me think that it's been a while since I used that kind of change of tonalities. It's like uh, as if I had lost a bit of the playful stance that one needs to compose music. So, in a way, I was not mocking the 80s and the dramatic stance anymore. The game was like becoming real. I was getting into the good parts, what I really like of that music, because the fact that I maybe make a spoof of that music doesn't mean that I don't like it. In fact, I only joke about things that I love. Like you only make jokes with a friend that you know very well, defects included. No, when I don't like something, I just ignore it. But it's a bit with what happens with this music. I suddenly noticed that I was writing a song that was tried to use all the traditional elements, triggers, creative triggers one that 80s music is known for. But the game was real. I was onto something that was real for me, at least. This made me think that in a way of those bands from the 80s, like I don't know, Sisters of Mercy and stuff like that, they labeled themselves often and as neo romantics. It intended to be like a new spin on romanticism, and I like romanticism. I'm a bit over the top and over sentimental, so the mockery was no longer that much of a mockery to me. It was a discovery. It was a real avenue of creativity for me that I didn't know was possible. And I think this romantic stance in goes in the song in the lyrics. For me, in the lyrics, I had an initial problem with them, an initial challenge, because with my other band, the Black Sheep Riot, is a hardcore punk band. So the lyrics had always been, and the themes for the lyrics had always been a very straightforward thing. You simply look around and you have 360 degrees of things that suck. You just point out at that and you can write a song about it, and it's it's the gift that keeps on giving. But with this song, I found, and it was also for me fresh and exciting, that I had to tap into a different source of inspiration that was not so obvious, so in your face, so simple to find for me. So in my case, even though this song started with a tongue-in-cheek intention, I had to dig inside myself and from biographic material and start to think what does Temple of Night mean for me. Uh, and when I reach the verse, it's quiet here. What does that it's quiet here mean for me? And the solution that I found, the way I interpreted those words, was like remembering a past period of my life that it's over now. So it's like the remembering the song from a place of remembrance where I'm alone, so it's quiet here. No, it's a very the intimate experience of remembering something or remembering your past, and a certain period of my past that I decided to call the Temple of Night. Particularly, I associated the Temple of Night to a period of my life and also to a lost love of mine during that period. So at some point, both things melted. So the Temple of Night is at the same time that period of my life who is symbolized by that woman of my that lost that lost love of my past innocence. So with that, those elements, what I had come up with was a point of view that was what like the leverage that I needed to write the rest of the song, keeping things 80s, which in this context for me meant keeping things poetic, even a bit with an over the top poetic. Because I think many of those bands from the 80s, the thing about their lyrics is that they are poetry, and in a way, they are bad poetry because it's poetry that often doesn't stand by itself if you strip away the music. But it's a different kind of genre. A poetic song is not the same as a poem you recite. Why I went for that style too. It's over the top poetic. That is not really very clear for me. The pinnacle of everything is when I say she's a mermaid of love. It's like what the hell I'm talking about, but it's very felt. I have my interpretation, and maybe you can have yours. And it's what I find admirable of those groups is that maybe they are bad poetry, but in the end they are poetry. And there's a lack of poetry, and it's better bad poetry than no poetry at all. And sometimes through doing bad poetry, you reach the good one. So again, in that vein of poetry and over the top, I reached the interlude of Savior, Savior. Again, it was like going back to that kid waiting for the cartoons to start, and what's this adult speaking of really, and that part it was going to be only at the end of the song, but I found a way of putting it in the middle too. I think it works well the way it prefigures how the song is going to end with a fade out, which is a very 80s format thing. Also, is standing faithful to the style. And again, I tried to be like deadly serious and very formal about, oh, what's this thing that's happening to me? See me, woman. Or like acting very masculine, but at the same time, you don't look masculine because it's the 80s and everything is like mixed up, and you really don't look that serious. That kind of, I try to reach that kind of ambiguity that this is serious, but it's not that serious, but yes, it is serious, but who knows. And the thing with these people, it's like they are trying to make sense, but they are not really trying very hard, no? And you can see it in their lyrics and in their video clips, as we'll see later with my own contribution. And well, I think that's all I can say about this song. For me, it was a great, very fun ride. It also helped me discover a new vein of creativity and learn things about myself. And I hope you enjoy the results too. Thank you. Bye.